Hello YouTube, Nathan Dewey here doing my first gun video. Today we are going to be talking about a few things to keep in mind if you are looking at the Ruger LCP2. First thing, the trigger. This uses a hammer-fired single-action trigger. The trigger is short, but also a little on the heavy side. This particular gun has had 50 rounds through it and countless dry firing. The trigger has smoothed out a little bit, but a thing to keep in mind about this particular gun is that when you're aiming, you really got to keep a nice firm grip on it, and you have to make sure your positioning is spot on. Otherwise, you will move the sights when you squeeze the trigger. Also, the reset. This is not a striker fire, therefore you cannot short stroke it. What you're going to have to do is here for two distinct clicks. That's the first click. The trigger will not fire, it's locked. Wait for the second click. There's the click right there. So it's almost, you basically have to pull the slide all the way back to reset the trigger. Also, the floor plate. I have been carrying the flat floor plate. Something to note about the flat floor plate is that you cannot, for whatever reason, push it in with just regular finger strength. You actually kind of have to slap it in. The regular floor plate, you don't have to do that. You can just push it in. And yes, I have two magazines for this, and both sets of floor plates do the exact same thing. The extended floor plate, you can just push it in. Flat floor plate, just gotta give a little tap, and you're good. Another thing to note, because of how small this gun is, I'm going to guess that for most people it's going to be a two-finger gun no matter what. So I have kind of medium hands and short-ish fingers. You can see finger here, finger there. Okay. Extended magazine. Finger here, finger there. Also notice that the chamber is empty, though the magazine is loaded. Okay, now this little nub right here, when you're shooting the gun, I found myself, after it would recoil, my pinky would find itself underneath the little floor plate. So I would shoot, it would go up, and then this portion would kind of rub up against my pinky, and it was actually a little uncomfortable. So I actually found the flat floor plate more comfortable to shoot, and quite honestly, I didn't notice much of a difference in felt recoil. Something to consider. It just depends on how big your hand's on, which floor plate is going to be best for you. My suggestion for any semi-automatic gun is to have at least two magazines. Another thing about the magazines, now this is the magazine that it came with. It's important to note that this is not from the original run. This is a more recent production. Now the magazine I bought extra, the stamping, the Phoenix symbol is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller. The indentations are a little bit deeper, and there's a very small TM in the corner right there. This magazine, the newer magazine, does not have that. So, a little bit smaller stamping, TM, you probably have an older magazine. The biggest criticism about this gun has been that if you hold the gun upright and try to eject a live round, and you pull back the slide with kind of slow, that it will hang up. So let's see if I can replicate that. Okay, 1 round, 2 rounds. See, it doesn't. You notice the casings don't exactly fly out, but they are clearing it. 3. Ah, there you go. Yeah, that's been consistent. Every third or fourth casing, there you go. Every third or fourth casing with this particular magazine, the casing will hang up if I just manually hold it upright and eject. However, you do it upside down, no issues. Now, what's interesting, the newer magazine has a slightly more powerful spring. So, right, loaded, same thing, same process. 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every single round cleared with no problem. I think with the older magazines they gave a less powerful spring so it'd be easier to load, and I think that has been the main culprit for people not being able to regularly eject a live round if they're just you know, cycling through just to see what will cycle and what won't. So something to consider. It may not be the gun, it may just be the magazine. Okay, that is about it. Yeah, I really like this gun. I've had it for 2 weeks now, and I've carried it every single day of those 2 weeks. I've been carrying concealed since September. It's now June, so it's like about 9 months now. I had been carrying the LC9S Pro. Trigger is much lighter on this one, obviously because it's been worn in. This gun does a lot of things right, but I opted for the smaller gun just because of, you know, convenience. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a huge guy. I mean, I'm not short. I'm not shrimpy, but you know, it's like, you know, I can't. This is about as big as I would carry a gun at this point in my life. So, yep. It's empty. Alright, now I'm going to pick up the casings. I do a mix of PMC bronze, FMJ, and Sig Sauer hollow points. Okay, that is it. Oh, one more thing. This is the holster that I've been carrying. I do have the original LCP2 holster, but as far as I'm concerned, holsters are more or less personal items, so if you can keep, you know, why not? Just keep the original intact. It's a little big because it originally is fitted for a LC9S. Alright, very unprofessional video. Thanks for looking, take care.